Welcome to Time Whispered, where we uncover the hidden truths of history, society, and the human condition. In today's story, we dive into a shocking reality, a form of torture that leaves no bruises, yet it's still legal in 29 U.S. states. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our deep dive stories about dark history, real events, and the untold side of humanity. Now, let's begin. The first time Sarah Mitchell screamed, it wasn't loud enough for anyone outside the chapel to hear. That was by design. It was October 1952, in a place called Shepherd's Haven, a conversion camp hidden in the mountains of rural Montana. To the outside world, it was a reform school for troubled girls. To the families who sent their daughters there, it was a last resort, a place to fix what they couldn't understand. But to the girls inside, it was the place where they learned that being yourself could be systematically erased. Sarah was 15 years old. She'd been sent there because her mother found a letter, a love letter, addressed to another girl in her class. In 1952, America, that was enough. Enough to lose your family. Enough to lose your freedom. Enough to lose yourself. This isn't a story about what happened to Sarah on her last day at Shepherd's Haven. This is about the 6 months before that day. The months when they took a bright, curious, funny teenager and turned her into someone who couldn't remember what her own laugh sounded like. And here's the thing that's going to mess you up. The techniques they used, they're still being used today. Sarah arrived at Shepherd's Haven on a Tuesday. Her mother didn't hug her goodbye. Her father wouldn't even look at her. The woman who processed her intake was named Mrs. Eleanor Hartwell. She'd been doing this for 12 years. She'd processed hundreds of girls, and she had a system. Rule number 1, Mrs. Hartwell said, not looking up from her clipboard. You don't speak unless asked a direct question. Rule number 2, you don't use your name anymore. Names are personal. You're not here to be a person. You're here to be fixed. From that moment on, Sarah became subject fort. Now, here's where it gets psychological. By removing her name, they weren't just being cruel for cruelty's sake. They understood something about human identity that we're only now studying in neuroscience. Your name is the anchor of your sense of self. It's the word you've heard most often in your entire life. It's connected to every memory, every relationship, every moment you've ever felt like you. Take that away, you start to drift. Within a week, Sarah would flinch when she heard her own name whispered by other girls. Within 2 weeks, she'd start thinking of herself as Subject 14. Within a month, she'd forget what it felt like to be called Sarah by someone who loved her. But the name thing? That was just the beginning. The second phase was what they called silence training, and it was brutal in ways that don't leave bruises. Sarah was allowed to speak exactly 12 phrases. That's it, 12 pre-approved responses. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I understand. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. And 7 others just like them. Anything outside those phrases, punishment. But not the kind you'd expect. They didn't hit her. They didn't lock her in solitary. Instead, they did something way more effective. They made the other girls punish her through silence. If Sarah spoke out of turn, every other girl in the dorm was instructed to pretend she didn't exist. For 24 hours, no one would look at her. No one would acknowledge her presence. She could walk into a room and girls would talk around her like she was a ghost. Now, think about that. You're 15 years old. You've been ripped away from everything you know. The only people you have are these other girls going through the same nightmare. And suddenly, even they treat you like you're not real. Psychologists have a term for this now: social death, and studies show it activates the same regions of the brain as physical pain. Your brain literally interprets social rejection as a threat to survival. Sarah learned fast. By week 3, she stopped speaking entirely unless directly questioned. By week 5, she'd forgotten how to have a spontaneous thought worth sharing. By week 7, her internal monologue had shrunk to those 12 approved phrases. She was becoming what they wanted, a blank slate. Then came what the staff called the testing, and this is where it gets really dark. 3 times a week, Sarah would be called into a small room. Mrs. Hartwell would be there, along with another staff member, usually a man, which was deliberate. They'd ask her questions, personal questions, invasive questions. Do you still think about her? Do you still have those thoughts? If we released you tomorrow, would you go back to your sinful ways? Here's the twist. There was no right answer. No matter what Sarah said, she was wrong. If she said no, they'd accuse her of lying. We can see it in your eyes. You're not cured yet. If she said yes, they'd call her defiant. You're not even trying. Maybe you want to stay broken. If she stayed silent, they'd call it evasion. Silence is guilt. This is a textbook example of what psychologists now call a double bind, a situation where every possible response leads to punishment. It's a torture technique, not physical, but just as effective. Because here's what happens to your brain in a double bind. You stop trying to win. You stop trying to figure out the right answer. You give up on the idea that your choices matter. You learn helplessness. And that's exactly what they wanted. By month 4, Sarah had stopped trying to defend herself. She'd just sit there, staring at the floor, absorbing whatever they said about her like it was objective truth. You're broken. You're wrong. You're disgusting. She started to believe it. Month 6. Sarah had stopped sleeping. Not because she wasn't tired, she was exhausted. But her body had learned that sleep meant nightmares. Nightmares meant waking up in a panic, gasping, heart racing. And panic meant punishment. So she taught herself to stay awake. She'd sit in the chapel for hours after lights out, staring at the cross, trying to force herself to feel something. Guilt, faith, fear, anything. But she felt nothing. This is called dissociation. It's what the brain does when reality becomes unbearable. It disconnects. It removes you from your own experience. You become a passenger in your own life, watching yourself from a distance. Sarah described it later, years later in therapy, as feeling like I was watching a movie of someone who used to be me. One night, a staff member found her in the chapel, staring at her own hands like they belonged to someone else. When asked what she was doing, Sarah said something that still haunts the therapist, who eventually read her case file. I'm trying to remember who I was before I got here, but I can't find her. I think she's gone. That's when Mrs. Hartwell decided Sarah was cured. Not because she was healthy, not because she was happy, but because she'd been successfully erased. The girl who'd walked in 6 months ago, curious, funny, full of life, was gone. In her place was someone who moved through the world like a ghost. Someone who spoke only when spoken to. Someone who never, ever caused problems. Someone who'd forgotten her own name. Sarah Mitchell is 86 years old now. She lives in a small apartment in Seattle. She never married. She never had kids. For decades, she didn't talk about Shepherd's Haven. But in 2019, She gave an interview to a researcher studying conversion therapy. And what she said should terrify you. The worst part wasn't what they did to me. The worst part is that it worked. For 40 years, I believed I was broken. I believed I was wrong. I avoided relationships. I avoided myself. I became exactly what they wanted me to be, invisible. Here's the part that's going to mess with you. Shepherd's Haven wasn't unique. Between 1940 and 1990, there were hundreds of camps like this across America. They had different names: reform schools, therapeutic boarding schools, religious retreats. But the methods? Almost identical. Strip away identity, control language, create double binds, induce learned helplessness, isolate from support systems. And here's the kicker. These techniques are still in use today. Not in the same camps. Most of those were shut down. But in modern conversion therapy programs, in certain troubled teen facilities, in abusive relationships where one partner systematically breaks down the other's sense of self. The playbook hasn't changed. It's just been repackaged. Sarah's story isn't ancient history. It's a warning. In 2023, conversion therapy is still legal in 29 U.S. states. Thousands of LGBTQ+ kids are still being sent to programs that use these exact psychological techniques. And because it's all therapy, because there are no physical bruises, it's invisible. But the damage is permanent for many survivors. Sarah told the researcher one more thing before the interview ended. She said, "I spent 40 years trying to find the girl I was before Shepherd's Haven. I never found her. But you know what? I found someone new, someone who survived, someone who's finally learning to be proud of who she is, even if it took me until I was 80 years old." If you or someone you know is being pressured into conversion therapy, please reach out to the Trevor Project. You're not broken. You were never broken. And to everyone watching, these stories aren't entertainment. They're warnings. The techniques used at Shepherd's Haven, they didn't disappear. They evolved. They're still out there breaking people down in the name of fixing them. The only way to stop it is to see it, to name it, to refuse to let it happen in silence. Sarah's voice was taken from her for 40 years. Let's make sure her story is heard now. Because the past isn't past. It's still happening. And it's happening to kids who look just like you. Just like me. Let's not let them be forgotten. What do you think about this shocking reality? Torture doesn't always leave scars you can see. And sometimes, the most painful wounds are the ones society ignores. Thank you for watching. If this story opened your eyes, please like, share, and subscribe to Time Whispered for more powerful stories about history, justice, and humanity. Stay aware, stay compassionate, and never stop questioning what's considered normal. Until next time, take care and keep seeking the truth.